The old saying, take one step forward and two steps back, might seem like the route American muscle cars has been determined to follow, but that's not the case. Details amid progress is the method of their apparent madness.
I'm not sure if we're ready for this phase, but rumor has it we're tearing the Impala apart. Hey, how are you?
Dan, what's going on?
Not much.
Good to see you.
Big plans today?
Yeah, it's a big day in the build.
Is it?
We're actually going to start disassembling some stuff so we can get the car over to the body shop. Normally we would mock up every car before paint. I mean, down to the last nut and bolt. I mean, every last bit and piece that could go possibly on the car goes into it. The reason for that is to make sure that we're not going to have to do any modifications after paint. On this particular car, we're actually disassembling the car a little prematurely. The reason for that is we have a really tight deadline on this car, and we need to leave adequate time for the body guys to do their job. The materials need to cure adequately, so if we don't allow them enough time to cure, the body guys aren't going to be able to do their job accurately.
Unlike the initial strip down, this tear apart has no rust to fight. In fact, many pieces are just hand tight, making the progress go very smooth. Almost.
The big challenge with getting the exhaust off today was removing the hangers from the frame that MagnaFlow had installed. They install exhaust systems to never come off. I mean, that's the last thing you want driving down the road is your exhaust hanging down, scraping the street. So when we had the exhaust mocked up, they hung it with their traditional hangers. So our difficult time is actually removing those hangers so we can reuse them in the future. They're not made to come off, they're only made to go on one way. And so it took a little bit of finesse, a little bit of time, and a lot of headache to get them off.
Dismantling the exhaust may pose some problems, but it's good to know it's fixed snug to the underside. You want to know your exhaust is going to hang in there for a long time. Underside components do need to come off into sequence, and unlike the first teardown, they need to be handled with extra care. Having to replace a part damaged by carelessness could jeopardize a fast-approaching delivery deadline. The body shop will want the shell in as few pieces as possible. Any tin we're stripping will be reinstalled so the panel beaters can set lines and gaps.
We opted to take the front sheet metal off today, number one, because it makes getting the engine and trans out so much easier when you don't have to work around all that bulky sheet metal. The second reason is we knew that we're going to have to work the sheet metal, front sheet metal, tremendously. So it's going to have to come off anyways. We're going to have to do some hammer and dollying and cutting and welding. So now's as good a time as any. We disconnected everything that went from the body to the frame, frame to the engine, engine to the body. Some of those parts included throttle linkage, brake lines, master cylinder, booster, all of the bracketry for the master cylinder, booster, and some other miscellaneous plumbing items.
We may have the body off the chassis, but that's not where we're stopping. Every component on the frame needs to be stripped off. The frame rails will be shipped out for powder coating while the body gets primed and painted. The only thing we'll leave as one piece is the engine and transmission. But then we're only talking about 6 bolts to make that happen too.
Actually, I'm probably most afraid about this deadline than I am about any of the other cars we've ever done. We have very little time left to do what we feel we need to do as far as the body work goes. I mean, there's just a tremendous amount of body work that's going to be involved in making all these panels flat and fit together. There's a lot of little small adjustments and fine-tuning that needs to be done to the body, and we need to do those things to make sure that we deliver the product that Classic expects and also that we expect.
There's one phrase you'll never hear from a builder who's taking apart his own project, and that's, who put this thing together?